Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Acoria Racing League F122 Esports League. We will be racing around Monaco this evening. So it should be interesting, it should be tight, it should be windy, and there should be many safety cars and smashes into the wall. I'm sure it's going to be fun. So let's actually get right to the track intro. So we have 19 corners on the Monaco circuit. We are actually racing at midnight instead of the official time because it looks really good. Um, Not sure why they don't do this in real life, but there you have it. So we will be racing around the Monaco circuit at midnight. 19 turns, 3.337 kilometers. That 3.337 is the shortest of all the tracks on the F1 circuit. Massive elevation changes, and it's always an interesting race with everyone having to basically follow each other through and try and make sure that they don't put themselves into a wall. So we've got 11 guys in the lobby at the moment. I know a couple of guys are going to be joining a little bit later on, but let's see what everyone can do. So no one going out of the pits just yet. I imagine people are going to be fiddling with their setups, making sure that everything is just right before they go out. Again, because it is such a tight, twisty track, it is one of the original tracks, and so it is designed for much smaller cars, and the modern F1 cars actually really struggle to get around here. So we will obviously ride on board with Sketchy at the moment. That looked like a little bit of lag there, but Sketchy first out through up the hill, and I'm going to have to try and remember these turn names. So let me just get a picture of the track with the actual turn names rather than just their numbers. Because this track, obviously being as old as it is, it has all sorts of history to it, and each of the corners is named, and it's one of those tracks that you really do have to do it justice like that. So Sketchy heading through the tunnel at the moment. We will rejoin him before he ends this outlap. I really wish they they fixed the fact that it goes so incredibly loud the moment you go on board with the cars when you're spectating. So I'm just getting a track map up that actually has the names, and then we will rejoin Sketchy hopefully as he starts his lap. Fortunately, we're going to miss it because Wikipedia is fighting me. Okay, and up the hill he goes. Porty has just joined us. It's good to see that he has managed to make it before the 10-minute cut-off time of quali. So we've basically put in a limit on when people can join in the middle of quali. We've basically allowed them to join up until 10 minutes into quali. So with 7 minutes left, everyone has to be in. Anyone who joins after that will get disqualified from the session. But with that, let's follow Sketchy as he heads into the tunnel. So you head out of the tunnel and head down towards the Nouvelle chicane. Quite literally the new chicane as far as French is concerned. So very imaginatively named there, and then you go into Tabak. That's this fast left-hander. Doesn't look like Sketchy got a great exit through there, through the quick little chicane, the Lucian chicane. That is the chicane where Mick Schumacher in the Haas actually managed to split his car in half. And that last little bit is Raskas and Anthony Nogues. Anthony Nogues is the final corner and the little kink, and that Sketchy dude comes across the line with 113.362. So not a terrible lap as far as we can tell. We'll find out very soon. Okay, Landmine 111.778. Landmine showing us what a what a proper lap looks like, and then Reaper going even faster with a 111.243. So the guys pulling out some pretty incredible lap times. I wouldn't even have come close to that. How's it, human? How are you doing? I take it you've seen Azura in the lobby. He's driving your car since you're away, so I thought it'd be nice. Oh, and that is a lot of debris on the track that Marcus just managed to pick up. Justic is Marcus. Hopefully he hasn't ended up with any sort of damage. That is Porty once again starting his weekend as such with a not so great moment, and already with a completely lost front wing. Let's see who... Oh, Azura is actually on lap at the moment, going through... what was that? That was coming into the Raskas already, coming to the end of his lap. So Raskas into Anthony Noakes. That's that little bit... looked like he got a massive amount of oversteer coming out of there. Now 117.785. Okay, so... Azure not doing Humid's car much justice, and putting in a 1:11.785, which is good enough for third position. But you can see how quick he is through these corners. I know he hasn't actually played this track since the release of the new game, so it looks like definitely not since the performance patch. So he is going to be trying to get used to the track. I see a Red Bull out there with yellow flags. Looks like he may have had to cut that chicane. But Azure, you can see how close he puts it to the walls, how much of the track he actually uses. Right up against the walls at every opportunity, and that is what we that's what we talk about when we talk about maximizing the track. Unfortunately, he's taken a little bit too far at the Nouvelle chicane, and he has cut the chicane itself. So let's follow TJ around in the Alpine. Alpine, obviously the the subject of some massive drama over the past couple of weeks, which has finally come to an end Monday of this week, if I remember correctly. Oscar Piastri being told by the contract recognition board that the only contract that is actually legally binding there is the McLaren one, and it's actually more recently come out that the reason for that is that there wasn't a contract with Alpine. They gave him basically a summary of the terms that he would be looking at, and then never did anything else. There were no further contracts. They were supposed to sign him on as a reserve driver. They didn't even have him on a contract for that properly. And basically they completely botched it. And Otmar Zafnauer has come out at multiple times saying, oh no, he hoped that Piastri would have more integrity and so on and so forth, but they've been screwing him around for 8 months, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a little bit of drama, but that's what happens when you screw people around, and they definitely came second best for it. But yeah, I'm TJ, starting the lap, going through Sandevot. Obviously, everyone knows about no heroics into that. Going through Massenet at the moment, and then into Casino, down the hill, across the little hump, and into Mirabeau. Or the beginning of Mirabeau. There are actually a couple of parts of Mirabeau which the map is not very clear where it is. You go through the hotel hairpin. That's the hairpin where the modern F1 cars actually have a whole different front suspension to be able to get through that hairpin. The standard suspensions that they run at other tracks will not actually work at that hairpin. So Formula One teams actually have to have a different type of front suspension just to allow the tires to turn far enough to be able to get around that hairpin. So as he comes through the Piscine section, there are actually two different parts of this, the Lou Chiron and then Piscine itself, the two different chicanes there, into Raskas, through Anthony Noakes. Doesn't take as much of the track on the outside as we see the regular Formula 1 drivers doing, and coming across the line with a 1:15.457, so not a great lap for TJ. He hasn't raced with us for a while. I think the last time was last season, but he looks like he is pushing again, but that is likely to be the end of his first set of laps. So we'll go on board with the Williams, which looks so good at night with that blue. It really deepens up really nicely at night, and you can see, oh, that is an unfortunate loss there, going through the piscine section, the pool section. I'll just stick to the English name there. But going through the pool section and spinning out again. This actual chicane here, those barriers there with the F122 logo on it, that was where Mick Schumacher split his car in half at this year's Monaco Grand Prix. Let's see who we can follow around. Okay, so Azure has retired from the session, and that looks like he has actually retired on track, pushing a little bit too hard through. Where is that? That is Casino that he was pushing a little bit too hard through and manages to find the wall. So Human's car cursed, apparently, for anyone else who drives it. And that was unfortunate. Unfortunately, the end of Azure's quali session, which means his 1:11.785 will be the best time that he manages. So we will follow. We'll actually just stick on board with Marcus. We obviously went when we wanted to see what happened to Azure. So we'll follow him around. He's on his outlap at the moment, going through the pool section at the moment. So let's see what he can do. So Raskas, this is the corner here. Obviously Raskas and Antinogues is where Charles Leclerc actually crashed Niki Lauda's classic Ferrari into the wall. Oh, and he misses the corner, and that is massive damage to the McLaren. Not enough to retire it, just losing his front wing. That will probably be some rear wing damage as well. Let's see if he can get out of there, and off he goes. Yeah, Humid, you do seem to have some interesting luck, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you genuinely have bad luck, considering your general times. Okay, so let's ride on board with your teammate Moz and see what he can do. Looks like someone had left some debris going through Tabak. How's it, Trilogy? How are you doing? It's great to see so many people coming into the chat and just generally, you know, chatting. If you have any questions, have any comments, definitely just throw them into the chat. I will see them, I will read them, I will be able to respond. So you're welcome to ask anything that you'd like about the race itself. I'm not so good at history, I'm not so good at that sort of thing, but I do know a little bit, so I will try and answer things as we see. I'm pretty sure that was Azure's soft tire just sitting on the racing line there, or just off the racing line. Tomas comes through the hotel hairpin and down into, what is this little section actually called? Mirabeau. This is the second half of Mirabeau. So you have Mirabeau, the upper Mirabeau basically, just before the hotel hairpin, and then you have lower Mirabeau, which is that part at the bottom, and then Portier is that corner going just before the tunnel, and then down to the Nouvelle Chicane. So Moz heading through. Where are the sector lines? There's a sector line. Obviously he hasn't set a lap yet, so no comparison to his previous lap times. Into Raskas, and finally Antinogues. And now it's quite a long run down towards the start-finish line, and Mars puts himself up to 5th position. So not a bad lap from Mars, especially considering we've seen a couple of people put it in the wall. But let's see whether Sebi can push him even further down. Sebi is generally pretty quick, but more so in the wet than the dry of late. So let's see what he can do, taking a massive amount of, well, I would say curb, but not. There isn't curb on this track. There's just wall. So getting right up against the wall, going through hotel, taking quite a narrow line through the hotel. Let's see what he can do as he goes through Portier and into the tunnel, having to take a wide line around Moz there. So that was quite unfortunate to meet Moz there on the track. No real place to get out of the way there, unfortunately. If you're on the left-hand side, you're on the racing line before the corner. If you're on the right-hand side, you're on the racing line in the corner. And just unfortunate there. But getting a fastest middle sector of everyone according to the graphic. Obviously that is unreliable, but let's see what he can do. Looks like he's got a little bit of wheel spin going into Portier, not Portier, into Antinogues. And across the line, 7th position, 1:12.565. So a couple of people battling to get a lap together. We'll follow Titan Ash around. He is warming up for a lap, so we will follow him around, and this should be quite nice because who the heck is Kanye, and why would they be a good co-commentator? So we're following Titan Ash around as he preps for a lap, going through the tunnel at the moment. Obviously, this part it doesn't really show us what he is likely to be able to pull off, but somehow has managed to invalidate his lap. Most of the time we see invalidations through the Nouvelle Chicane, but Titan looks like he managed to actually do that before he got to the chicane itself. Alrighty, Titan going sideways through Anthony Nogues. Let's see what happens as he goes down into Santavote, takes a lot of the curb on the inside, gets nicely out to the wall and up towards Massenet. So that little section going up the hill there is actually called Beau Rivage. I'll try and remember that during the race. Through Massenet and down the hill towards Casino. It looks like he is pretty stable, doesn't look as unstable as he was on his outlap. Through the hotel hairpin. Alright, yeah, no, well, you know, at some point if he'd like to join on one of our streams, he's absolutely welcome to. Just reach out to him. So, heading through Nouvelle Chicane, and looks like Titan Ash is having quite a bad issue with lag. So that is going to be problematic if that does continue. It does look like he is backed out of this lap. It doesn't look like he's actually pushing even vaguely at this point. Let's see what happens. Titan Ash coming across the line now after a pretty scrappy lap and ending up in last place for 117.589. So looks like he is going to go again right away through Beau Rivage up towards Massenet. Hopefully he had enough fuel on board to be able to do this. Looks like whatever was causing him to hop around all over the place has been fixed. Maybe he actually went into the menu to try and fix something that may have caused the jitters that we saw. Sketchy has retired from the session. Everyone's starting to push a little bit harder with so little of the quali session left to go. The track will have rubbered in now. This track does have a lot of track evolution through the sessions, so the final laps are generally a lot quicker than the ones earlier, and Titan Ash is in one of the perfect positions to be able to actually put a lap together as he heads into the Nouvelle Chicane and comes out towards Tabac. Let's see what he can do, getting right up to the wall and throwing the car into the section, but it did look like there was a car just getting out of the way. That McLaren, very good move on the McLaren's part to get out of the way, but it looks like that was enough to distract Titan Ash and get him into the wall. And what is he doing? Not 100% sure what he was doing there. But possibly just a little bit frustrating, cooking his tires. Not sure what that would help, but he might be joining from the back. So that'll be interesting if he does actually start from the back. He is very quick, so that'll be an interesting strat. Trilogy, I'm pretty sure Deadpool did go out a couple of times, but hasn't been able to set a representative lap time just yet. So, Lemon Tricks heading up the hill, up Beau Rivage into Massenet. Takes it nice and close on the apex. Takes it slow through the second part of that chicane though. Heading down through Mirabeau and into the hotel. Let's see, it doesn't look entirely comfortable. Takes a lot of curb on the inside of the hotel. Coming through into Portier now. This doesn't look like the greatest lap, but it is happening at the right time. 2 seconds to go, 1 second to go. And that is the end of the session. So let's see if Lemon Tricks can finish this lap with some speed. Looks like he's getting a lot of wheel spin coming out of the Nouvelle Chicane. Going through into the pool section. He's a little bit up on his, or down on his previous time. Not quite as fast as the previous time, but he's still got a sector to go. A bit of a lockup going into, I can never remember the names now, Raskas. And then through to Anthony Nogues, and no improvement. 114.067 does not, he's not going to beat that this time. So let's see, is anyone still out there? Venom is out there at the moment, does get a better time, doesn't move himself up. Reaper looks like he's out there as well. Reaper has led the session from the very beginning, so Reaper having a very good qualification session, getting the highest, getting the fastest first lap and just staying there through the session. Landmine having massive damage early on, and it doesn't look like he ever really set another representative lap, and ends up with a puncture right at the death of the session. So Landmine's session really not doing well. But there you have it. Monaco is such a difficult track just in general, and you could see it in the fact that so many people struggled, so many people that we generally see as very fast didn't get decent laps in. Azure crashing out, Titan Ash having massive issues here all over the place, Deadpool not managing to set a lap. It is going to be a fascinating race with the issues that people have been facing. Lemon Tricks using 4 different tire compounds, Putty as well. That might actually affect their race if they do try and go onto the soft compound tires. I think you do share soft compounds with Quali, so that might affect those guys who have used all 4 tires. So maybe they are planning on going on mediums and then hards, but that's very unlikely. So they're likely to have older soft tires when they do want to swap onto those. True that. It is a pretty low deck circuit, as well as the fact that, you know, they wouldn't have done too many laps on the youngest one. I'm pretty sure a couple of them may have just gone out and gone back in. That may have been an aborted lap. So yeah, they will have some life left in the tires, but still, like, it's not as fast as a, you know, fully new tire, and it's not going to last as long. So they do have to get a little bit intelligent with the strategy. On the subject of strategy, and you can't have a strategy conversation without without mentioning Ferrari. Look at all the pit guns, all out of the way of the fast lanes, and even far away from the aprons. That is the way that it's supposed to be done. Ferrari needs to take note. I mean, even Codemasters could code their guns into the right place. Why can't Ferrari do it? What have you noticed in league races past? Right. Yeah, I've had higher a couple of times, but you know, that's generally on tires that I've taken a few laps on. And oh yes, of course. I was like, why are they going already? I didn't see the lights. It's because it is a formation lap. So the guys are going to try and warm up their tires, which on Monaco is always going to be quite difficult. Looks like Reaper is just legging it through the track, hoping that his tires will warm up just with a standard lap almost, it looks like. So let's see if that works. We do have, looks like Venom falling quite far back. Obviously the guys at the front are a little bit quicker than some of the guys further back. So yeah, there will be a little bit of gap. But I must say that people really do need to keep an eye on their tire temperatures. Obviously, the game doesn't penalize the people out in front who do have their temperatures to the right place and sit too long. I don't think the temperatures change once the drivers get to the grid. So Reaper's strategy here might not mess him up too badly. He's just going to sit on the grid for quite a while. Although he will have a good idea about how those tires are going to switch on the first lap of the race a little bit better than the others because he is pushing as hard as he is. It does look like he will have a better idea of how the tires are, how the grip is, and obviously also how the car handles with the bigger fuel load. So he's doing a couple of burnouts, and let's see how he does into his pit box. Quite far back, so not taking advantage of the immersive formation lap. Lapline doesn't do much better. Azure looks like he got quite nicely onto it. That looks fairly decent. Can't see that one just yet. Jarvis looks like he may have overshot it a bit. Oh, that's not the right direction. Mark is having a little bit of an issue finding his pit box. He is the last person to come onto the starting grid. And is that gonna work? Oh my word, that worked. Okay then. 5 red lights and away we go. Eventually. The desync on the red lights is so bad in this game. So away we go. It looks like we already have contact between the Red Bulls going through Sandovoort and who's that, Porty in the Aston Martin falling down the order as they go through Sandovoort. Looks like quite a few people are going to have damage after that. It's going to be difficult to actually see who has damage with the camera angles. That looked like Titan Ash going into the back of someone. He is actually on probation for that sort of thing, so he needs to be careful not to push anyone out of the way. Small little bits of contact like that little concertina contact there that we just saw, that's fine, but if he tries to drive through someone, that is going to be a problem. So the game obviously going through going through the hotel chicane, because everyone has to go as slowly as they do, already the game giving a yellow flag, and that is just how slow the cars have to go through the hotel chicane. So we have Reaper out in front, Azure 8 tenths back, 9 tenths back at the moment, Landmine already 1.6 seconds back as they come to the end of the lap, Jarvis 1.6 seconds as well back from Landmine, Venom is right on top of his teammate Jarvis, Moz is with them, and that looked like, Sketchy and, who was that? That looked like Sketchy, Titan Ash and Sebi all having a moment, coming through Anthony Nogues, and that is sure to be investigated after the race. Hopefully someone manages to save the race replay for me so I can have a half decent look at it. But as we stand, we see Titan Ash overtaking that sketchy dude in the Alfa Romeo, and the 2 Red Bulls have just switched position as well. So quite a lot going on the opening lap, but we already see some massive gaps coming up, and Moz and Venom fighting their way through the hotel chicane, side by side, wheel to side pod there, and Moz, I'm not sure what happened to Moz, I'm pretty sure he was a little bit further ahead when we looked at the timing last time, and suddenly, that looks like there was more going on all over the place. It looks like Venom has managed to actually spun out, so a lot going on the opening couple of laps, so often outside of view, unfortunately, because things are changing so quickly. Titan Ash now coming up, and Sketchy Dude has retired going into coming out of the pool section. Sketchy has already left the session, so obviously not entirely happy with whatever happened there, and that is the first retirement on lap number 3. Jarvis now going into the pits, obviously having picked up damage at some point. Titan Ash currently sitting behind Moz, 4 tenths of a second back. I think this is the most likely to yield an overtake on track anytime soon, but I said that I thought that a couple of times already, and I've been proven wrong, because every time we switch off something, then something happens. So Titan Ash getting a little bit of oil spin coming down towards the hotel chicane. Looks like Moz is actually running on the hard tires. So a very interesting strategy choice there, looking like he wants to go long, and that will give him track position, at which point he can defend. So you'll see this track is very narrow, it's very difficult to pass anywhere, and defending is quite easy as long as you have sort of the same pace as the car behind you. If the car behind you has a massive overspeed, so Titan Ash hitting the wall there. Doesn't look like he picked up any damage. But yeah, if the car behind you does have a massive overspeed, it is possible for them to pass, especially coming out of Anthony Oaks. If they get the traction zone right, then all the way down this pit area, I'm not going to call it a straight because it absolutely isn't, they do get a pretty decent run and a decent tow and into Sandovote. You can pass there, but doesn't look like Titan has passed this time. Beauregard, you can stay very close, but it's still quite difficult to pass there. Sebi just passing Deadpool, both of them on track, so missed that, unfortunately. So Titan Ash, let's see, he is still behind Moz. So this is the sort of defending I was talking about. Moz is being able to defend on those hard tires against Titan Ash's medium tires. So even though Titan should have a little bit of extra pace on those medium tires, he is not able to get past purely because it is so easy to defend here. You can see how wide these cars are as they go through the tunnel. It's very claustrophobic. And Titan looking at going side by side through there, but not quite managing, and the two of them going through the Nouvelle chicane right on top of each other. Another snap of oversteer by Titan Ash. Looked like there may have been a little bit of contact there, and Moz is now able to pull away a little bit further. So we'll keep an eye, we'll actually keep on board with this, because Jarvis and Deadpool. So let's see, Jarvis should be able to get past Deadpool. We'll see if he tries through the Nouvelle chicane. Looks like he's going to the inside. Not close enough just yet. Titan Ash in the meantime going into Sandovote, and Moz. A little bit of contact there between Moz and Titan Ash, and Deadpool is now retired going through into the buck. He was side by side with the Red Bull of, I think that was Jarvis. So hopefully there was no contact there. But Deadpool now retired from the session. So we are back on board with Titan Ash and Moz. Looked like Titan Ash did get alongside Moz going into Sandovote, but Moz did manage to keep the position. Not sure if he was entirely on track, but let's see what happens. I'm not actually sure. I think he still had wings and everything, but we weren't on board. So yeah, he did, but it did take him away without any sort of safety car or anything, so that's quite interesting. So Titan Ash has now made his way past Moz. It does look like Moz may have actually just let him through. I'm not sure if maybe there was contact and Moz deciding that his long-term race was better suited to letting Titan past, and Titan manages to prove him right by going into a wall and losing his front wing. So Moz now back ahead once again, and now we have the processional race that we were kind of expecting. Everyone quite far apart. I don't see anyone under 2 seconds apart, and we have a yellow flag. That was Marcus now retiring from the session. So let's see. Looks like he just found the wall somehow. And yeah, that is unfortunate. And Sebi has now retired as well, so we're going to stay on board with Venom and see what happened to Sebi. It looks like he is actually in the pit lane. Yeah, Sebi retiring in the pit lane. So we have had 4 retirements in 6 laps, and still no safety car somehow. So not sure what's going on with the safety car. I know it is on standard, but maybe just the game deciding that this track doesn't need a safety car. Oh, and that was interesting. Potty just cutting the corner and getting a 5-second penalty as a result, cutting through the Nouvelle chicane. Not sure if he just missed his braking point and then had to go across, but the game taking a dim view on that and giving him a 5-second penalty. That is a pretty harsh penalty for cutting that chicane, but I have noticed that the game doesn't really know how to deal with that chicane, to be honest. Okay, Potty going into the pits at the moment. 7 laps in and people starting to pit. That is a little unusual. I wouldn't expect them to be pitting that early, especially running on the medium tires. So I don't know if that's maybe for damage or whether that's actually a legitimate pit stop. I imagine it's for damage, because it doesn't really make sense to pit off the mediums this early in the race, unless he's going onto hards, but he's not. He's going onto softs, so he is going to have to pit again at some point. How's the Fox? How are you doing? So yeah, quite an eventful race so far. 4 people DNF'd already. at least one of them an intentional DNF into the pits. And looks like Venom and Putty are actually about to start racing as they head through Casino, Massenet and Casino, and then down into Mirabeau. Not close enough to try and make a move down the inside. Putty defending quite nicely as well, sticking his car in the middle of the track. Not taking a great line through the Hotel Hairpin. But it looks like he is struggling a little bit with something. Not sure if he's still got slightly colder tires. He is only just gone onto those tires. But let's see. Oh, right, I'm still on the onboards, which is why everything's so loud. Oh, Venom overshooting the corner and getting that corner cutting penalty. He gets a 3-second penalty. I'm sure Putty got a 5-second penalty for the same thing. That doesn't seem fair. So Venom getting a 3-second penalty for corner cut. Titan Ash getting the fastest lap of the race and now is up to, behind IMTJ. So let's see if he can get through cleanly. Looks to the outside, looks to the inside, doesn't manage to find a way. IMTJ putting his car in the right place. Titan Ash right on top of that Alpine at the moment. And that is definitely contact. So there is definitely something to investigate there. Titan Ash not just pushing his way through, and as I say that, he pushes TJ into the wall. So that probation was pretty short-lived. That particular incident looked pretty clear. Obviously we'll leave clips of that, but I'm sure we'll see as well. So Titan Ash getting past IMTJ through some not so kosher means. IMTJ still on track though. Hopefully hasn't got any damage other than the front wing. Pops into the pits, so he will be pitting, and I understand that obviously due to the damage from this incident with Titan Ash. So Lemontrix is the next person in the path of Titan Ash. Titan Ash in the Alfa Romeo, 1 second back, less than a second back from Lemontrix at the moment. So let's see if he can get through this one cleanly at the very least. Makes up a massive amount of time into Mirabeau. Through the Hotel Hairpin, he takes a tighter line through there. Does hold off a little bit on the exit. Looks like he is trying to allow Lemontrix to survive the race. And now they head through the tunnel. So Lemontrix defending just a little bit, going a little bit offline, just to make it a little bit more difficult for Titan to get alongside him. But Titan is now going to go around the inside. That definitely looked like Lemontrix actually did let him through. Not necessarily the worst option with what we've seen so far. And Titan Ash now in 5th place, needing to make up 17 seconds to get back up to Moz, who he was behind a little bit earlier. Moz currently 10 laps in on those hard tires, so Moz still has quite a way to go on those hard tires, and should be able to then pull off a 1-stop. So doing what is generally seen to be the ideal strategy around this track, going as long as possible, keeping the track position, and then doing a quick stop at the end where you can actually control your pace a little bit better with the soft tires. And in the meantime, Azure has managed to catch up to Reaper. So Reaper, not sure if his tires are falling off a little bit, and maybe Azure has kept them a little bit more under him. But as I say that, Azure does a quick little flip through Raskas into Azure notes. He was mentioning that he did have a little bit of understeer earlier on in the evening, so he's experiencing a lot of understeer with a lot of his setups in this game, and so maybe he actually used that little flick to get himself rotated around the corner properly. But Azure for a moment there looked like he was getting to within a second of Reaper, who has, as with the quality session, not just dominated that, but also is dominating this race at the moment. 1.6 seconds ahead of Azure, but Azure has shown some pace in the last couple of laps. And Lemontrix now ahead of Titan Ash. Titan Ash coming in to get rid of those soft tires and putting on more soft tires as well as a new front wing. So obviously picked up a little bit of damage somewhere, and now dropping further down the order with Jarvis now ahead of him as well. Is that rain? That looks like rain. Okay, Potty getting another 10-second penalty for corner cutting through the Nouvelle chicane. If that is rain, DRS disabled, there it is, that is actually rain. So we are having a wet race. This is going to make things very interesting as Venom goes sideways through Massillon and into Casino. Reaper pitting onto the intermediates, the first person to pit onto the intermediates looks like Landmine and Azure have stayed out. This is interesting. Reaper looks like he has made the right call. It looks like everyone else is sliding around all over the place. Potty has now retired from the session. That looks like he has retired in the pits. So Potty deciding he is not having any of this. And Landmine struggling around this track on the hard tires in the wet. I do not envy him at all. He is going so slowly, and he will have to. He's here. He might be able to accelerate a little bit, but those cold hard tires are going to be horrible. And let's see if he manages to get it stopped. Going into the chicane, just about gets it stopped and comes out of there sideways. So you can see how treacherous it is, even for the guys out in front, the guys who have incredible skills. Azure and Landmine, both of them struggling through these sections on those slick tires, going through. I'm pretty sure that is IMTJ, and IMTJ, I'm sure he will be coming to the pits as well, as Landmine makes it through into Raskas, and IMTJ definitely coming into the pits. So let's see if Reaper has made the right choice. He is coming down the pit lane at the moment, and he is going to be well ahead of the other guys. Definitely a massive undercut going onto those intermediate tires in order to get ahead of the rain, and that would be why we saw a couple of people going onto the hard tires, wanting to push it as far as possible, but some of the others going onto the mediums as well, and I'm sure they expected to get 13 laps into this race. It's not that long to go. So Reaper almost 10 seconds ahead of Azura, from being 1.6 seconds ahead at the end of the lap, that lap that we were on board with them. So Reaper making a masterful decision with the strategy, and Azure unfortunately making a little bit of a Ferrari decision there. Landmine in the Aston Martin also not making a great decision. Moz, I'm pretty sure he didn't do too badly for himself. He's only 15 seconds behind Landmine, so may not have pitted at the ideal time, or may just be struggling in the wet. Jarvis 26 seconds back from that. 27 seconds now as he heads up through Beaurivage. Lemon Tricks 3 seconds back from that. Titan Ash 13 seconds down from Lemon Tricks, and with a lot of making up to do. Venom 20 seconds back, and he is currently blue flagged and without a wing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of people basically re-evaluating whether they want to keep going, but Venom having to get a new front wing as well, and IMTJ now past Venom due to his misfortune. So lots going on, or at least not that much going on, but definitely a lot to consider. Azure 7.5 seconds back, so Azure does look like he's making up a little bit of time. Deadpool has left the session. I wasn't even sure he was still here, but yeah, Deadpool has left the session, and we are now on to full wets. It looks like, and it honestly looks like it is heading towards full wets. And that is going to be pretty interesting if they do have to pit again off those intermediates and onto the full wet tires. I don't see puddles forming too badly, but the rain is bucketing down at the moment. And we have a yellow flag that looks like Landmine struggling into the Nouvelle chicane. And it definitely looks like the track is getting wetter. It looks like the rain is heavy enough that it might actually necessitate another change of tires, this time onto the full wets. So this might even get a little bit more interesting as... who is that? That is Lemon Tricks in the Williams has found a wall heading through Mirabeau. Doesn't look like he's got to any wing damage, but you never know with these cars. It could be floor damage, it could be side pod damage, so not quite soon enough to say whether he has anything wrong with that car. Azure is actually making up good pace, or making up good time on Reaper. Reaper only 5 seconds ahead, 4.8 seconds ahead. Oh wow, that is dropping very quickly. So Reaper not 100% comfortable on these intermediate tires, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. If Reaper is actually uncomfortable on these tires and Azure is so much more comfortable as he actually appears to be, this is going to be a race very, very soon. Azure making up a massive amount of time on that last lap. I'm not sure if it's just got a little bit wetter and Azure is a little bit more geared towards oversteers. And so maybe putting that to his advantage, but Reaper definitely struggling. Going around on another lap, not coming in, so I don't know what's happening. I wish I could be able to speak to Mark for, you know, the first time ever, and ask him what he thinks about the weather, because there's no puddles forming. I can't see any puddles forming. There's kind of a dry-ish line, so I'd say it's still intermediates, but I can't tell if that's just the game's graphics that are not kicking in properly, or whether that's actually the case. As Azure now 1 second back from Reaper. Reaper has lost that lead, and that's really unfortunate for Reaper, but Azure definitely making the most of a bad situation. That rain is still coming down in buckets. I really do wish that Codemasters had decent net code and we could actually see what the guys are doing, because it would be so interesting to actually ride on board with it, Azure, and see what he's actually doing to keep those tires underneath him. He seems to be doing so much better than Reaper at the moment. Seems to be so much more comfortable, and it would be great to be able to see where he's braking, where he's putting the throttle down, and this looks like it's going to be an almost easy overtake as he goes to the outside. Decides not to go with it. Reaper obviously dumping quite a bit of ERS going down the pit straight, but not enough. Coming out of Sandovote, does not get the traction, and Azure getting past, going through Beau Rivage. Looked like there may have been a little bit of contact between Reaper and the wall there. But there you have it. Now Titan Ash has made his way up to the back of Jarvis. Let's see whether he can do anything about this and get past Jarvis. Jarvis pulling over, letting him through, deciding it's not his fight, and I don't think that's necessarily the worst decision. In the meantime, Venom getting past IMTJ down the pit straight as well, and we have Titan Ash retiring from the session. Titan Ash obviously coming through the pool section a little bit too hot and has managed to put himself into the wall, I imagine. Hopefully his car will not have disappeared by the time we get there. Interestingly enough, still no safety car, and the car is gone. So, still no safety car, and that... Okay, give me a sec, I'm just going to do this quickly. Right, how's that humid? I'm pretty sure it's just when we go on board that it's so much louder than, you know, when we're driving off board. Sorry about that, hopefully that will be fixed. But yeah, so it's just... I feel like a safety car could really make this race even more interesting. I mean, it's not a bad race at the moment. It is very typical Monaco. But yeah, I feel like a safety car could obviously bunch up the field quite a bit, and we would actually be able to see a lot more racing, a lot more for the side wheel-to-wheel action. And yeah, no, it's just a situation where... oh, that was a very good run through by Venom, but he should be being blue flagged. So Venom ignoring the blue flags, getting ahead of Mars. If he can pull away sufficiently before the start of the next lap, essentially he'll be able to keep that position and try and push his way forward. If he doesn't get far enough ahead, he will be required to move out of the way and yield to the blue flags. It is obviously quite difficult to focus under blue flags when you've got a ghosted car riding on the apex, and it basically starts making it difficult for you to see where the apexes are, see where your breaking points are. It can be quite distracting as well. So it looks like, oh, that is IMTJ now retiring from the session through the tunnel. And once again, no safety car. I know for a fact that the safety car is turned on. I did double check it before we started the race. But I think just with where the cars retire and the fact that everything is on track, and very much so on track, it almost looks like the game has decided that it would rather just, pop the cars out of existence than run a safety car. Sorry, TJ. That makes sense. I'm not surprised you would have had a problem. Not having a floor, that's not fun in the best of circumstances, and this is not the best of circumstances. So, interestingly, Reaper is struggling quite badly, even compared to Ladmine's pace. So we're gonna follow Ladmine around and see what he can do. But that looked like, was that Reaper's wing? That was Reaper's wing. So Reaper, as I said, he is very much struggling, and it looks like he might actually, or he'll definitely have to come into the pit now. I wonder if he's going to take a gamble and maybe put on some full soft tires or full wet tires. He has not looked comfortable in the intermediate conditions from the very beginning. So not sure if he maybe went with a full dry setup, and so in the wet it's just caused him to have zero pace, and maybe that's why he was so quick in quali. He may have picked up some damage just before Azir passed him. That could make sense, but I'm not sure. Like the pace differential changed as it went along, as the conditions changed. So yeah, maybe some damage. It'll be interesting to see if there was damage there, or if there. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no good way to check it. So as we stand 20 laps into this 39 lap race, and we have Azure in first place, Ladmine 20 seconds back, Reaper 24, almost 25 seconds back from Ladmine, and then Moz 2.7 seconds back from Reaper. Looks like he is going to be the next person to try and catch him and see whether he can pass Lemontrix, 44 seconds back from that. Jarvis in 6th place, 8 seconds back. Venom in 7th, 28 seconds back, and the last of the guys still running. We have lost half of the field at a moment. How's it, Potty? What happened? You did not look like you had a good session. Yeah, I did remember Reaper hitting the wall. I didn't think he hit it that hard that he would have gotten damage outside of his front wing, though. So it looks like Moz is making time up on Reaper as well. So I think you are definitely right that he picked up more damage than I initially expected. Maybe I just didn't see it properly. Maybe I just saw... Yeah, it definitely looks like he got some sort of floor damage. Like, considering his pace now, like, no offense to Moz, but the fact that Moz is catching Reaper definitely suggests some sort of damage. Potty, I imagine you're going to report. Oh, speaking of reports, I haven't lost all of them. I will get to them. And there will be consequences. There will be changes to the standings, I'm sure. So yeah, please just report it. I've got a couple of people who I've got my eyes on, so yeah, if it was one of those people, it will have, you know, large consequences. But we'll see. And Jarvis has now retired from the session. Looks like he has done so in the pit lane. So obviously running with some sort of damage, and we are now down to less than half of our original grid. Who is this? That is Reaper. Reaper getting Moz getting very close to the back of Reaper as far as the map is concerned, but still 4.4 seconds back of not having such a great lap there. And Jarvis's car coming out onto the field, it should pop out of existence pretty quickly, I'm sure. But yeah, we only have 6 runners left. Started with 14. This is definitely the race of attrition that we absolutely expected, and the rain certainly hasn't helped. So yeah, there we have it. Monaco claiming many victims once again, and that car is still on the track. Oh, right. The car just wanted to pull the Rosberg. Well, you know, it's a bit of both. I think people give up when the damage gets too bad and it becomes undrivable. I mean, they're not going to race around another 19 laps with a car that just spins out at every corner. So I kind of understand it like that, but that's also kind of what attrition is. It's the car degrading, or whatever it is, degrading until the point where the people just cannot handle it anymore. And a war of attrition is literally that as well. It's all your supplies running out, and people just getting to the point where they cannot actually handle the poor situation that they've been put in. So yes, it's a race of attrition by its very definition. I don't know. I think yellow is a bit cynical of you. I feel like orange bordering on red is more likely what most people get, unless it's a rear wing. Then it's like the moment it turns even vaguely orange, it's like, nope, that's just not going to work. So we have 6 people left. We have 16 laps to go. In 23 laps, we have lost 8 people. So that is... So we've had one person retire every 3 laps on average. So with, what did I say? 16 laps to go. I mean, we've got a decent chance of only one person finishing this if we continue at the rate we have so far. So yeah, let's see what people can do. One person every 3 laps. We should be coming up to another retirement at about lap 26 then, if that's correct. So yeah, let's see how well these guys do. 6 people left. Now 15 laps to go. And Moz was looking like he was maybe starting to catch Reaper, but Reaper looks like he's managed to find the groove with whatever damage he's carrying, and so he is now managing to pull away a little bit further, but still 30 seconds behind Landmine, who is 24 seconds behind Azure. Azure running a much better race now that the rain has started. Looked to be struggling a little bit in the dry. Or at the very least, Reaper seemed to have his number. But Azure now showing the changeable conditions are exactly what he is good at, or good at adapting to at the very least. And Azure 25 seconds now ahead. Moz is 7 seconds back from Reaper in third. Lemon Tricks 45 seconds back, and Venom 31 seconds back from that. So massive gaps all around. I'm sure there are a couple of people lapped at this point. Let's put this onto leader gap. It doesn't really tell us, but we do know that a lap here is sort of around, well, there we go. You can see Landmine is busy lapping, who was that, Lemon Tricks, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Landmine lapping the Lemon Tricks. So Lemon Tricks and Venom both having been lapped already. What is Azure behind, or where is Moz? So Moz still doesn't look like he's been lapped. It looks like Moz is still getting quite... um, he's not running badly. He's still on the lead lap. Especially in the changeable conditions, it can be quite difficult to immediately adapt. But Moz seems to be doing fairly well. Was catching Reaper at one point, but Reaper definitely does seem to have gotten quite slippery there, and is finding some pace. But yes, you know, 6 people left. There's not much I can do. I can either chat with you guys, but you guys aren't being very good conversationalists, or at least, you know, not poking at me quite as much as would be necessary for that. Or I can start finding random things to talk about. So yeah, DNF seemed like a good one, considering we had just had another and 8 people down. It's a pretty hectic race so far. And, ooh, there we go. It is... Oh. Aha. So, Venom, unfortunately having a little bit of spin through the pool, coming down into Raskas. Let's see if he hops into the pits, if he's got any sort of damage. Doesn't look like he's damaged too much, so he is going to keep going on to his 26th lap. Azure on lap 26 at the moment. That can't be right, can it? Because I think Moz has just lapped Venom. So, Azure currently on to lap 27, heading up into Beaurivage at the moment. He's definitely still in the groove. It is such a long race. 39 laps is so long to go around the same track over and over and over and over and over, especially one that is as twisty and turny and just generally quite difficult as Monaco. You think of every time you have to accelerate and then brake, and you have to put so much force through that brake pedal. You mean Venom? I take it. It's still a little bit too early for him to retire. If he retires this lap, then I'll have predicted it right. But let's see what happens. So Venom is once again a slight bit quicker than Moz, and he is getting on the racing line, so this might actually turn out to be an incident before too long. And we have Lemontrix. Lemontrix looks like he is fine, doesn't look like any damage, so he is going to keep going. There's Moz. Is Moz ahead yet? No, Moz is behind Venom. Let's see if Venom can actually put some space between him and Moz. I think this is the second time he's done that, but it looks like Azure is starting to catch up a little bit to Moz, and might be ready to lap him quite soon. We'll take a couple of laps just to catch up, but there we go. Yes, but this time it was a real person doing the Rosberg rather than just a bot. Yes, indeed. And in fact, there was a race actually at Monaco in the wet where, like, I think only 3 people actually finished at the end of the day. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember there was a race in Monaco where pretty much everyone retired other than the top 3. Or, well, obviously the top 3, because there were only that many left. And Monaco has quite a history of weird situations. It was not mine. I'm not going to say any more than that. But yeah, like yeah, Monaco is one of those places where the weirdest things can happen. I think the only place where I'd rarely say anything weirder happened was the US Grand Prix, that one that all the was it Bridgestone? No, it was the other ones. I think it was Michelin's. All the Michelin runners just decided, nope, it's too dangerous. Tires are exploding all over the place, and yeah, it just wasn't safe. And only 6 people took to the start. Obviously, the 2 Ferraris finished first and second, and then it was a random Jordan driver who finished in third, his first and last ever podium. And obviously, the 2 Ferrari drivers, they respected the FIA's request to not celebrate too hard because of the farce of a race that they just gone through. But yeah, no, it was one of the situations. Yeah, the thing is, like, these seasons do tend to die out at, well, in any way. So, like, yes, sure, there is a risk of running a longer season, but at the same time, it's nice to have all the races on the calendar. I mean, we've still got 14 people. It's pretty good going. Obviously, it's, yeah, there is obviously the... oh, that was weird to watch, the two Ferraris inside each other. But yeah, like, there will be some attrition as far as the drivers are concerned, but we're actually doing pretty well. 14 people in, seven races in. Like, we've theoretically only really lost 6 grid spots. Yes, that's the one. 2006 Indianapolis, and it was that banked corner. So, like, it's quite interesting that we've now got a track that has permanently banked corners in Zandvoort, and the cars are managing to do well there. But if I remember correctly, there was some sort of weird track surface at Indianapolis, which the Bridgestones, if I recall correctly, they were actually based in the US, or they had NASCAR experience or IndyCar experience or something along those lines. So they actually knew of the problem before they got there. So they developed their tire for that Grand Prix, knowing what the problem was. And Michelin, who obviously they didn't actually supply any of the American racing series, and they ended up getting there with no idea what was going on. And basically, they brought through like 3 different types of tire compound, and not one of them ended up actually surviving. Yeah, the game is quite expensive. Like, I initially got it on EA Play, just because, you know, there's a couple of other games on the EA Play service that I am quite interested in. Played a little bit of Jedi Fallen Order and that sort of thing. And yeah, it was worth it for me to get the EA Play yearly thing, which, you know, it costs the same as the game. So it made sense. And then, of course, they didn't have crossplay at launch, which that sucked, because I then had to make a plan with that, and get it on Steam as well. So yeah, that wasn't ideal, but yeah, no, subscription services definitely seem to be the way to go these days. I mean, the Xbox subscription service is great. The EA Play one's pretty good if you like the EA games, and especially the you know, annual sports games. Humble Joyce is fun sometimes. This month's actually a pretty good one. Yeah, so subscription services are definitely the way to go going forward, I think. Especially because most of them are cheaper than buying the games outright. The notable exclusion to that list is the Ubisoft Connect or Uplay or whatever the subscription service there is called. It is ridiculously expensive. It's like 300 rand a month or something crazy. Yeah, I think I went with the ultimate one, so it was like a grand a year. How's it, buddy? I take it Twitch was leaving you far, far, far behind? So yeah, lap 32. We haven't had any further retirements, so this is good. I have been proven wrong. I'm glad I've been proven wrong because there's still 6 cars that we can watch running around. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, Twitch, like, yes, there's more exposure there and that sort of thing, but that delay, it just makes no sense whatsoever. But especially because, like, I'm streaming using Restream, which allows me to stream to multiple different platforms at the same time. So theoretically, all of the platforms should have the same delay, but they just don't. YouTube has almost, or much less delay at least, and Twitch just it just does not seem to run properly, at least in this part of the world. I mean, I don't know what it's like in America, and whether it does actually keep up over there, but like it's so frustrating because like, yeah, for the most part Twitch is also a lot better as far as spam is concerned, so yeah. I am on low latency mode. That's the thing. It doesn't make sense. Like, it shouldn't have any sort of lag or anything like that. But like, I've got this running. Actually, that's a little weird. So I've got the stream up running on a tablet, running through Twitch, and Lemon Trick's just getting a 3-second penalty there that I completely missed, but saw on the stream. But I'm running lap 33 on my tablet, so I don't know why. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why am I fine on my tablet, but like then the next time I stream, the tablet runs 2 or 3 laps later? Like, is it that they're too popular? Is it that there's too many streams going and it's just overloading their servers? Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I'm glad that you are able to join us still on YouTube. At some point, I really do think I need to integrate a Discord channel into my restream, because I can actually do that, and then like all the chat will come through on the Discord, and yeah, it's it'll be cool. But yeah, Dark Fox, the gaps are pretty great. Well, you know, great isn't big, not great isn't good. Lemon Trick's getting another 3-second penalty for corner cutting. How many penalties is that at this point? And will that allow Venom to take over? 12 seconds and 3 seconds. So Venom actually might have a chance. So let's see if he can actually pick up the pace a little bit. On lap 34 at the moment of the 39, 5 laps to go. Let's see if Venom can actually pick up the pace and get within the 9 seconds he would need to get ahead of Lemon Tricks in the standings. It's pretty difficult. This is where I really wish I had a co-commentator, but unfortunately Humor turned me down, and I wasn't sure if you were available. So yeah, no. Is Azure? He did too. I completely missed that. I was oh, IMTJ has left the oh right, IMTJ still in session apparently, possibly watching it live, seeing what was going on. But yeah, Azure has now lapped Reaper as well. Don't think he's going to manage to catch up to Landmine before the end, but yeah. Yeah, I know you're on a break, but still, I'm still going to rag on you. Azure really is incredibly quick, like, and it seems to be just cars, like racing games, racing sims in general just seem to click with Azure. Like, I've seen him in Assetto Corsa as well. It's just next level. And of course, like, I've seen a whole bunch of just like the achievements that he gets in Assetto Corsa. He's got like almost all of them, and some of those achievements I've looked at, I've tried, and I spin out on like lap 2. Yeah, Human, I know. You explained to me. Yeah, like that's the thing, and I don't know. Like, the other thing is, like, I've met people who are incredibly quick on like nothing. Like I had one other racer in one of our leagues that he was running a G29 wheel, and he was next level quick. It was really great to watch him race. Interestingly, is the rain dying down? It does look like the rain might actually be dying down. So 3 laps from the end, and rain is starting to no, that's not dying down. That's just, once again, the graphics not quite knowing what to do. Possibly because we're running the race at night, but yeah. Next race is Wednesday next week. As far as commentary is concerned, as far as Acoria is concerned. So yeah. Yeah, Humid is on Twitch chat, Potty. We've got Humid and Banana in the Twitch chat. Fox keeps coming in and bugging everyone every now and then as well. So yeah, you're kind of the only one on the YouTube side that I can see. This is why I definitely want to integrate my restream into a Discord server at some point, because I'm pretty sure that'll then relay the messages through there as well, and then everyone can see all the messages. Yes, but we're talking about F1 races for Acoria. Yes, I'm streaming from my PC. Like, where else would I be streaming from? I'm sure Fox will have words to say to you, Humid. Aha! Welcome back, Porty. Welcome back to the Twitch chat. Oh well, now that's interesting. Oh, Azir just got 3-second penalty. That wasn't what I was talking about, but so I said just now that I'm on the correct lap and everything, and I'm not too far behind on my tablet as far as the stream, but oddly enough. Oh yeah, I'm commentating directly from F122. I'm not commentating a host broadcast. I might look at a host broadcast at some point, but yeah, no, it's just easier this way. But yeah, what I was going to say was, it's interesting. I said just now. Oh, right, of course. Okay, so I'm watching the stream on the Skex's channel rather than the Acoria channel on my tablet, and the chat just wasn't making sense because I've got Restream chat open on my computer, which is what I'm seeing, and then, yeah, it was just not showing up on my tablet because I'm watching the Skex's stream. Except the one on my channel is actually closer than what you guys are saying that it was on my tablet. So I think it's literally just a case of every now and then Twitch decides, okay, no, that channel is not as important, and just lags it a little bit. Yeah, Twitch things. Okay, so Azure is now heading on to the final lap, so let me actually run you through it. On board, we are heading down towards the first corner, Saint-Devote. No heroics into Saint-Devote is something that has been burned into the memories of pretty much every F1 player. Heading up through Beaurivage and towards Massenet. Massenet is the fast left-hander, or fast-ish left-hander, and then right away it is followed by Casino. Down over the subway, that little bump on the left-hand side is actually a subway. Mirabeau Haute, which is at the top of the Mirabeau corner, heads down into the hotel hairpin. Ooh, massive lockup, misses the apex, and now this is it. I believe this is Mirabeau Bas, which is the bottom part. This is Portier now. Portier leads into the tunnel. The tunnel is one of the things that I really like remembered from watching F1 from many years ago. Nouvelle Chicane, literally the new chicane, and now heading towards Tabac. Tabac is literally a little tobacco store. Now we head into Louis Chiron, which is this the start of the pool section, and those two corners actually have no name on their own. They're just part of the pool. This is Rascasse, and it's the second to last corner. It's very easy to overshoot, and this is Anthony Nogues. And that is a lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. On board with Azure, you could see how far, how close to the walls he gets all the way around the lap, absolutely pushing. And that is the end of the race as far as Azure is concerned. 43 seconds ahead. He did incredibly well, and Venom has spun going through the hotel chicane, and he is doing a 50-point turn to try and get himself in the right direction again. It looks like a little bit of wing damage on the front left of the wing, And he is going to slowly creep his way around. And he is one of the three that still needs to finish. Landmine, coming through now, was on the lead lap, the last person on the lead lap. Reaper and Mars just had arrows next to them. I'm not entirely sure why. And what? What? Reaper's time is being shown as in relation to Moz rather than in relation to Landmine for some reason. Okay then. So the game just breaking minds once again. Venom now comes across the line and finishes the race. The last of the finishers in 6th position. 14 starters, 39 laps, and a non-finisher as driver of the day. That's not suspicious at all. Humid, that actually might be a little bit more realistic. Obviously, Monaco being a street track means it is likely to be more bumpier than most tracks. And in previous years, I think they actually played it down quite a bit. Which curb did you actually touch, Porty, that gave you damage? Yeah, I think, you know what, like, as bad as the game is in so many different ways, like, EA and Codemasters have done... Right. Yeah, EA and Codemasters have actually done quite a lot to make the game better in a lot of ways where it wasn't that good to begin with. Hopefully they keep it going and they start fixing the bugs as well, and they try and, you know, actually put together a game to rival Assetto Corsa Competizione, for example. But it also has to be fun. So like, they can't make it as realistic as your Assetto Corsa games and R Factor and all and so on and so forth. And I think it's a really difficult balancing act. Just because they have to make it fun, they have to make it accessible, because that's what they're being asked to do. But like, to make it accessible, you also have to make sure that, you know, it works and that there aren't too many bugs. So yeah, I think it's a very fine balancing act. I don't think they've managed to actually get it right just yet, and my ego dumper has just popped up, which just to prove my point. But yeah, like, it's definitely a start. We have seen some pretty good steps in the right direction with the newest game. But yeah, let's see what actually happens. Yeah, this has been happening quite often actually. Like, I don't know if maybe I minimized the game a little bit too quickly after it brought up the loading screen or what, but it just couldn't load the menu and ego dumped me. So fun times. But anyways, that's going to be the end of this evening's race. Thank you so much for joining me. I see a lot of you have joined and come in, and it's been great to have you guys in the chat and have something to chat to you about. And yeah, without you guys, I would not have made it through that race. My gosh, 6 people at the end. That was hard. So yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat who gave a shout out and interacted. You guys made it much more pleasant than it could have been, and it's been an absolute pleasure to host you. So with that, we will bring that to an end. Banana, chat to Humid about getting some way to get hold of me. I would be interested in, you know, chatting to you about co-casting, at least on, well, somewhere. We'll figure something out. But yeah, it could be nice to have a co-caster. That way I don't have to rely on chat when they're feeling lazy. Oh, right. Are you called Banana, or um, literally Skeksis. I am Skeksis pretty much everywhere. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll check you next time. And Banana, I'll wait to I'll wait to hear from you on Discord somewhere.